Sandwich. I have Brett Harrison, who's going to join me. He's an attorney, personal injury attorney. You're going to love him. We were having a wonderful conversation backstage, and we're going to go ahead and bring it on camera because I think it's too good for us to keep just for ourselves. But before I dive into that interview, check out this video with a little reminder about what Care Sandwich is all about.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
Hey guys, welcome back. I want to invite Brett up to the stage so that y'all can get to meet him. Brett, how's it going?
I am blessed and highly favored.
I love it. So, Brett, tell us about yourself, your law firm, and what do you all do for people?
Wow. Okay. I'm a husband, a father, a brother, and a friend. I'm also an attorney because I wasn't born an attorney, and I don't like to have an.
Are you sure?
I don't know anymore, but a lot of times people start with that they're an attorney, and I don't like to let that imprison who I am. That's
Mhm.
just the vehicle in which I use to be phenomenal in this world, do what I was meant to do. I believe we were put on this earth, all of us, to be phenomenal and not average. It's just that we all use different vehicles in which to do it. So, and that's how I look at being an attorney. It's something that I enjoy doing, while it can be frustrating at times and a responsibility, just like everybody's job, you know. So, and it all starts with, to me, that we were put on this earth to be phenomenal because they don't make statutes of average people in this world. And being phenomenal is a lot of work. And to me, it's about success. The road to success to me is always under construction. The time that you think you have it figured out is the time to retire. Hang up your boots, and it's time to go.
So, let's talk about artificial intelligence and what you just said because it's so aligned. I was feeling very overwhelmed this morning reading up on AI, and I don't mean overwhelmed in a bad way, but concerned because as a marketer, I do appreciate things like cloud-based technology, things that we can use to create content and pump out content and put out marketing pieces and express ourselves and write speeches and send out emails and put together landing pages. But feel, I don't fear, I feel, and I was feeling overwhelmed because of this, that it's having the opposite effect of what we think it's going to do. When we use things like AI, for example, to save time writing something or sending an email or whatever, or putting out a piece of content, we're thinking, I'm communicating more. But I feel like if we're not careful, we could end up saying more, but communicating less, which ties into your point about being average. I feel like overly using tools is really leading a lot of people to overlook what's special about them, and they're leaning into these crutches. What do you
Yeah,
think about that?
okay, well, there's a lot to unpack there, but I was just dealing with a conference in New Orleans uh, where we talked a lot about AI and how you don't need as many people. Everything will be quicker. And here's the fear that I have. we're in a time frame now where everybody's about speed, the speed to do this, be the first, be this. Here's the problem with speed, in my opinion. You need to be two things: aggressively patient and intentional. And maybe that's, and what I mean by that is you have to have intentional direction, because if you go fast, you go 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction, you're that much further from where you should have been. So,
Yes. Oh
and I
my
think that's what you're
gosh.
saying. So I find most people aren't intentional in their direction, but you have to be aggressively patient. And I know it's a weird term. You have to have patience to get where you need to get to in the right time frame and in the right manner. So, but I also think you have to be aggressive about it. You can't just sit back and say, it'll be what it'll be. It is what it is. And that phrase is really misused, because you have to have intentional direction in where you're going, intentionally focused, intentionally disciplined, intentional about how you win each day. Because when you win each day, you win the week, you win the month. So you need to train yourself on what it means to win each day, and you have to do that with your staff too. Train them what it means to be intentional. And what I think AI lacks a little bit is the emotion, the struggle to get where you should get to. And you have to, it sometimes things just take times and they take turns, because really, if anything I've learned in my time on this earth is you have to fail. You're going to fail your way to success, and you just have to fail faster. And I don't think you can't AI can't take that away from you, because there's lessons when you fail. It's only a failure when you don't get your butt back up,
I
And I
think,
think,
I think, yeah, I think AI can mimic emotion, can mimic empathy, because I've even seen it with phone call answering systems, right? So it's better than not. But I think where you can really miss out on your own power and your own voice is when you give AI that full control to do it for you, to feel for you, to tell you what you think, when
yeah,
only you are human with a soul and know your purpose.
well, I think what you're saying is stand up, stand out for what you stand for. And what I think happens with that is, for me, that's never for sale, and no one's voice is going to take mine. And I think when you do AI, I don't think you're standing up, standing out for what you stand for. And it lacks that human capacity to listen to people and to understand what they're saying. Is there something more behind it? I think AI can be useful in helping you rephrase and and to shorten things, and to organize your thoughts a little bit. But sometimes it's in the fight that you've learned to be a better, whatever it may be. It could be a father, it could be uh, an employee, an employer. You can't be afraid of your own voice. And I think too many people now are afraid of their own voice. They're more concerned with fitting in. It's better to fit in. Let's fit in. Let's fit in. That's average. Fitting in is average. Average is the enemy, in my opinion. And it's the
I
enemy,
I agree with you.
so much so, is if you're like everybody else, you're average. And average, I've been told, is the top of bad and the bottom of good. Is average what you're put on this earth to be? And not to be funny, but I was listening to a podcast, and he also does it on YouTube, by Ed Milet, and he's like, when you were born and the baby and the doctor slapped you on the butt, they didn't
They
hand
don't
the
do that
they
anymore.
didn't well, they didn't hand you to your parents and go, here's an average baby. They're going to be average. They're not going to do anything great. They're just going to fit in. They're going to be average. And when they get a C or D or B, they're going to say that's good enough. It's average, because that's all your
Mm.
capacity is. I don't think that I know my parents would have freaked out if they said, "Here's your average baby. He's going to have an average life." I don't really think, I don't think when you were as you were, your parents told you you could be anything you want. They didn't say, "Oh, no, 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 you're average. You're going to be like fitting in. Don't worry about it. Don't
And I
worry
don't
about
think,
thinking on your own. You're going to be
well,
average."
and let's pause right there because I don't think people realize that when they overuse AI, over rely on AI, AI is average. It really is taking the information that's out there and giving you its best average response. I mean, even if you train it to be extraordinary and get creative with your prompts, it's not going to be as good as you by itself.
You're relying on it to think for you. And so many people would rather die than think. And those that do things greatly. Those that
Yeah.
don't, I don't know, maybe they become gym teachers if you don't want to think. I don't know. And not that I mind gym teachers, but you know, I, I think, look at it this way. Let's look at Henry Ford when he invented the car, the
Hmm.
automobile car, vehicle, whatever it is.
The T model, yeah.
Everybody at that time was doubtful of him, and they all poked doubts like, well, who's going to fix the car? What kind of tires? There are no mechanics, right? If he listened to everybody, he would have been working on how to make a faster horse, how to get your horse to be
Yes.
faster, right? And where would we be?
Yeah.
So it's always those people that aren't afraid to go against the grain, to believe, and it's about faith. And I think people lack the internal faith in themselves and the belief that it's possible.
It's not easy. Like what you're saying is even making me a little bit emotional because the last, I want to say 12 months, I've had a lot of pressure to not do what I'm doing now. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, I don't have people out to get me or anything like that. But it's just been so hard to really scale the way that I envision because my CMO business model is so weird, is the word, right? Everybody that I've talked to who loves me and has the best intentions has said, you could make so much more money if you just stop overcomplicating your life and just delivered a marketing service. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but like, I don't want to do the agency thing.
You
Like,
know,
I've done
you
that. I can't
Mark,
unsee this vision that I have. And they're like,
Margarita,
you're insane.
I'm so glad you talked about that. I'm so glad you talked about that because what I love about vision, right, is that
Mhm.
it's your vision. You can clearly close your eyes and see it, right? Most
Mm,
people in life, including family members, close friends,
mhm,
are seeing believers. They won't believe
mm,
it until they see it done. So, and that's why it's your vision, because you see it already before it's done. They are only seeing believers. They'll believe in you when they see it done. And
mm.
that's why most people aren't dreamers, okay? Most people stop dreaming around 21 to 25, and they just don't bury the bodies until they're 70 or 80. And I refuse to stop dreaming.
I love
And
that. Yeah, I mean, I have this vision that having a
it's your
CMO is going to
vision.
be as normal as having a realtor when you go buy a house. Like many people don't even imagine what it's like to go buy a house without a realtor. That's what I see for marketing services, like where
I,
you understand that you
I,
need that piece.
but I think what separates you from our brief conversations and listening to your stuff, I
Mhm.
think you should be called not just a CMO, a CMT, Chief Marketing Therapist,
Yeah.
because that's
Oh
what
my God, I'll take it.
you know why? Because we all
Yeah.
want results, right? As a CMO, people say to you, I don't get it. I did what they said, and it's now 2 weeks. It's now 6 weeks. I don't see a difference. Well, you know what? You don't go to the gym for a week and say, "Up, I'm good now. I'm good." No, it's a progression. It's about disciplined, intentional actions That's the separator for most people. They don't have the ability to have disciplined, intentional actions, and they just get impatient. And success is like a dripping faucet. You just got to keep coming and coming and coming. It's not just a windfall where it comes down. And I think you have to understand where you're going to go and what are the steps along the way and the markers that you have to do it at. And that's why
Mhm.
I think as a CMO, you see your vision and the way, in your opinion, it should be done. And why should you sacrifice that vision because some people don't agree or fit in? Well, maybe they're not good clients for you. Listen,
Yeah,
there's 1.2 million attorneys, maybe 1.4. I'm not for everybody, and I'm good with that.
yeah,
You know, I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be the best me because everybody else is taken, so to speak. And that's the
yeah,
thing. When you're the best you, who's better at being you, pound for pound, than you? Nobody. So don't
yeah.
try to be like everybody else. Be the best you. You've already beaten the odds because what is it? And every embryo, one out of every 1.42 trillion become a
Right.
person. You've already beaten the odds, right?
Yeah,
You're unique. So, what would happen if you put all your effort into being the best you, what you stand for? And that should never be for sale, no matter how much money, no matter how much convincing.
but let's take it back to the law firm owners that are listening. Reflection point for you, because I think, for the listener, I think many attorneys, and I have seen this as a CMO. That illustration that you gave was beautiful about how when you're not intentional, you end up further away from where you were needing to go anyway. So
Exactly.
many law firm owners build businesses without that intentionality. They do the plug and play thing, right? They go to a conference or they go to a friend or they go to whatever, and they determine they're going to build a firm like this, like this, like this, and then they have their forecast, and then they're like, okay, I'm going to need a logo, I'm going to need a website, I'm going to need a CRM, a case management software, and they're just like doing, 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 doing,
But they
doing,
don't they
doing.
don't
And
understand what they stand for and what makes them unique. And as a
amen.
marketer, if you don't know what somebody stands for and what they're about, like for example, for me, I don't like when you walk into a law office and you see a picture of either Abe Lincoln or George Washington crossing the Delaware. That's not, or a court scene. That's not what I'm about. When you
Yeah.
walk into my office, it has hope on an angle, and hope stands for help one person every day. And on the other wall, it says, um, care, connect, commit. So I know what the separator for me is, why I'm different, why I'm an asset
Mhm.
and not a liability to whomever, whatever room I'm in. And that's because I'm addicted to hope. And when people come in after an accident, they're at a very low part in their life because they didn't anticipate this, and the effects on them could be immense medically, their family, their bills. So I have to lift that pressure off of them. I have to run to that pressure. Most people run away from pressure. I have to run towards it. But I have to tell people, I hear you. Let's talk about how this accident has affected you. What can we do? And it's not just about the accident, it's the effect on them. What's happened
Mhm.
about them prior to this, you know? And you have to be able to listen to form a strategy. And I think the separator for me is that most attorneys, who's the one that, Copernicus, okay? The
I
world,
wouldn't have never guessed that.
right?
I'm just kidding.
Copernicus, he said about the world being round, Copernicus, not
Right.
flat. So I consider a lot of law firms, mostly Copernicus law firms, it revolves around the attorney and it revolves around them. So they're focused on results. To me, it's not about the world revolving around me, it's a revolving around my clients. Without a client, I have no world. It's about me then. And it's not about, so when you make it about the client and you strategize depending on the client and you understand what they're going through, it's about the process of getting them to where they need to be. And when they get to the process, when you focus on the process, the result ultimately will come. But that result is depending on what's necessitated in the needs and the strategy of the client. Just like you need, it can't be about you, only about the money. Yes, you're not a not-for-profit like me. I'm not a not-for-profit. I'm here to make profit. But you have to have, what do you stand for? And when you focus on, like you do, you're focusing on the client. What are their needs? What are their concerns? What are their fears? And what you're doing is you're giving them hope that it's possible. And when people believe it's possible and you spark them to work, and like you, like I tell the client, I'm not a clown. I'm not here to please you. I'm not going to put on red shoes and a nose.
I
I'm
say
gonna
that to my
make you work
kids.
for it. Yeah.
I say
I'm
that
gonna
to my
make-
kids when they say, "Mom, I'm bored." I'm like, "Am I a clown here to entertain you?"
Exactly.
But oh my
You're
gosh.
there to
So
you're there to put people and tell them, even when it's tough, this is what's got to
Yeah.
be done. And it's about accountability for you and for them and for your
This-
client. So
these
it's
are
it's
such good
time to
insights.
get it done. It's time
Yeah,
to get it done.
Yeah, Brett, I could talk to you for days. These are wonderful insights. I want you to have an opportunity to tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to refer cases to you or if they want to connect with you further, because you have so much wisdom. I could talk to you for a really long
Wisdom
time.
through pain. Wisdom, part of being an entrepreneur
Same.
is wisdom through pain. And each day I'm trying to figure out how not to kick myself in my own nuts, so to speak.
That's funny.
You
So
can
yeah,
get in
so how-
contact with you can get in contact with me through our website, which is hlgny.com, or our phone number, which is 631-465-9797. Or through, you can email me at Brett, BRETT, at hlgny.com. And remember,
And it's-
don't ever give up. Be the best you. You deserve it. And the other thing we talked about before, all the people and your relatives that you never met that got you here, they deserve you to give your best effort.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Brett, I have one more question for you, and then I'll see you
Uh-oh.
backstage. They say this is the most important question. Maybe. But what's your favorite sandwich?
I can eat everything, but lately,
Everything but bologna, get it?
yeah, lately it's been prosciutto with little tomatoes, a little bit of arugula, and some mozzarella with like either balsamic and fig on a nice focaccia or a nice roll. Could be French, could be anything, and color me happy if you get me that.
I like it. Salty sweet. It sounds yummy.
It really is good.
Brett, it has been a pleasure to have you on my podcast. I think we're going to need to do a round two. I feel like this was deep. These are the types of conversations I like to have. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'll see you in a little bit backstage. Those of you that
Thanks,
tuned
I
in,
appreciate it.
I hope you
I could-
enjoyed it as much as
I could
as much
talk
as
to you
I
for
did.
a while, Margarita. It's easy to talk.
Definitely. And we'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks again.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.